Good morning, everybody. I want to start out this morning before I go an inch further to say happy birthday. Ralphie Thompson. John Rogers is on the list today. Shannon Blake. Poochie Griffith. Love that name. And a very happy birthday to my daughter Lily, who is 11 years old today. And I'll never forget that doctor saying to me when she was born, "Welcome to fatherhood. This is the beginning of your new life." And boy, was he right 11 years ago today. We'll never forget that. I hope you're having a great start to your day. Thanks so much for tuning in to Aired Out, for making us part of your morning routine. Thanks to all of our new followers. We're getting a lot of new listeners in New York, which is really exciting. And down in Rutland County, actually. Thank you so much for being a part of it this morning. I appreciate your eyes and your ears. Don't forget, it is Tuesday. $5 Tuesdays are back at the Capitol Theater. Skip the line. Grab your tickets in advance, fgbtheaters.com. Follow them on Facebook and, anywhere on social media, really, for updates, for added showtimes, special events, and so much more. A lot to unfold this morning. Kathi Partlow is sitting right next to me. Very good morning to you. I'm so happy that you're here. This is so great.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
And I am so thrilled to have Downstreet officially now as a supporting sponsor. That is so exciting to me. I have been, admittedly, of course, so many of us have heard, just like me, of Downstreet being right here in Barre, but not knowing exactly what it is that Downstreet does. And man, just yesterday, just a quick walk through, just the building on Summer Street, I was wowed. I'm like, man, there is so much going on here.
We do have a lot going on. There's a lot in development and a lot nearing the close of development.
Yeah.
So a lot more units coming online, which is really exciting.
Listen, you and I have we've met each other a couple of times now, and we have said the times that we've met that anytime you say the word housing, especially if you combine the words housing and Vermont together, it hits a nerve. You know that. Everyone at Downstreet, I think, knows that.
Absolutely.
People are really sensitive about it, as we should be. I mean, and we all have opinions on it.
Of course.
We also know that there's a whole lot of finger pointing going on. It's not just Vermont that has a housing crisis right now.
Oh, absolutely not. It's nationwide.
Nationwide.
Yes.
Affordability is impacting all 50 states.
Absolutely. And folks, I'll just harken back to when I was a kid and just coming out of high school. I could have, on my sole, meager, basically minimum wage income, probably found myself a small apartment and made it work. And that is absolutely impossible at this point.
I know. I had I'll never forget it. Had an apartment in Waterbury in the early 90s that was $425
Exactly.
a month.
Exactly.
And I think heat was included, but electric was separate.
Absolutely. And that's why, frankly,
crazy.
Affordable housers are important to the infrastructure of any society, frankly, but in Vermont in particular, with both construction costs and rental costs just skyrocketing, as well as cost to purchase homes. You need folks who are committed to affordable housing to make the whole infrastructure work.
Our mayor, Tom Lozon, has been in the news lately, along with the mayor in Rutland. Some different viewpoints about, we could sit all day long and talk about the root causes of why we're in the housing situation that we're in. But we need to start talking about solutions. We need to start figuring this out. And that's not an easy thing. And everybody's got an opinion. Well, if we're going to get a solution, we need to begin here. And others will say, no, we need to begin here. And it's a pretty contentious topic.
Well, to paraphrase Eleanor Roosevelt, the way to begin is to just begin. No matter where you begin, if you're thinking about solutions, if you're strategizing with your community, I think the way to begin is to just get started.
Yeah. I am looking forward to having more conversations with Downstreet. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
Fox Run was a huge ribbon cutting event up there. That's part of Downstreet.
Absolutely.
Right up in Berlin near the mall there. We have the Summer Street project that's going on. The Stevens Branch Apartments project in downtown Barre, right here in the city. That's going to be up for a vote coming up in
pretty soon.
2 weeks
Yes.
from today. But I want to ask you specifically about the old Quality Inn.
Yes.
Everybody and their brother knows where the Quality Inn is. At least
Been a
if
fixture since the
time.
60s, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's a hotel that's been there for a long time.
Yes.
That has kind of gone fallen a little bit at the wayside over the years.
I think that's fair to say.
Yes. What's going on over there? Because everyone is driving by there and seeing the renovations that are underway. It's far beyond a coat of blue paint. I mean, there's
for sure.
There's a ton of contractors in there, and they've been in there all summer.
Absolutely. We purchased the now former Quality Inn. We have redubbed it as the Speranza Inn, which is, as we just spoke about, a project of Downstreet. So we are now a hotel, but a nonprofit-run hotel, and with integrated services. And we are in an occupied rehabilitation. So we purchased the middle of April, and by the first week in May, we were starting our renovation project. The renovation is a 4-stage project. We are in the third phase of this renovation, and I would argue we've made a lot of changes to infrastructure at this point, but this phase is our largest lift and the largest changes to the infrastructure there. One of the things that we set out to do at the beginning was to make this a hotel where folks could gain some footing to move themselves forward in whatever way makes sense for them in their lives. And staying in a hotel for any length of time where you have only at your disposal a mini fridge and a microwave to cook food, and without services doesn't quite seem the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so we have some services on site. We are renovating now, and when that part of our renovation is complete, we will have a community room area that has a full kitchen where folks can make a meal for themselves or their family and sit down and eat.
Wow.
Yes.
Like oven.
Yes,
Microwave.
everything. Refrigerator, countertops, plug-ins for crock pots, all of those things where folks who are there are not currently able to use those things in their rooms. It's against our policies for lots of good reasons. So we're very much looking forward to creating a larger and more community oriented for the guests that are there space.
Tell me more about these integrative services. Donna wants to know too here, and we're getting some comments, and what these resources are.
So we have a case manager on site, and I am currently not a case manager, but I've been managing case management for many, many years. So there are two of us on site who have that particular background and who are trying to work with folks. It's a large site. We have 30-ish rooms occupied now. We'll have 41 rooms when renovation is complete. And so with roughly 30 households there, we can't necessarily dive in and do intensive case management with each household. That's impossible due to how many staff we just happen to have on board. But all of our staff are trained to work with guests. And so if a guest comes in having a tough time, we're willing to have a conversation. And the reality is, for folks who may feel, and not everybody does, disenfranchised from community, from connection, providing that connection in whatever ways we can is really important to providing a grounding for folks. And we're seeing that definitely over time as we've been able to develop relationships both in the community and with guests who are with us here and there, where they're popping back after they leave to let us know how they're doing. That means they've created a connection. And a positive connection to community is something that Downstreet feels really strongly about, and it's a lot of the reason that drives a lot of what we do and what we're doing at Speranza specifically.
You guys have even had folks turn into employees. I mean, it's really remarkable. Relationships are so important.
Absolutely.
What is your official title? What is your position at Speranza in?
So my position is both at Speranza and at Downstreet is the Director of Homeless Services.
Whew. And there's one of you?
There is one of me, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That is that's quite the task.
Well, it sure is.
You
and
are a
we're
busy lady. Yeah.
We're busy for sure.
Wow. What are we taking applications right now? What are some of the prerequisites to being qualified to move into the Speranza Inn?
So we currently are working with the state of Vermont through the emergency housing system. So for these 30-ish rooms that we have available right now, I think it's 31 right now, due to the staged renovation. For those 30 rooms, the state is sending us folks. So the initial eligibility criteria comes through that state program. So we don't make those determinations at Speranza. We have our own eligibility criteria for folks coming in that we check. The state might call us and say, hey, we have Jane Smith. Sorry if there's a Jane Smith out there. I'm not talking about you.
Right.
We have Jane Smith, and here's their basic information, and we do a quick check to make sure they're not on our do not admit list, and we also are checking things like if someone is a level 2 or 3 sex offender, just basic things, recent assaultive behavior.
Are those deal breakers?
They're often deal breakers initially. We do have an appeals process that someone could go through.
Okay.
But it wouldn't happen on the day of. It would be a process that we would go through, but it can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If someone had a recent issue that we might have disqualified them for or determined them ineligible to come onto site, and they can show us that there's been a real and substantial change, or that there were mitigating circumstances to the issues that were presented to us, we may be able to reverse that decision.
What I love about this the most is that it's not just, Section 8 housing, come in, move in, stay as long as you want.
Mm-hmm. No, we are a hotel.
But this is also something that's really designed to be transitional for folks to get services, get their feet back underneath themselves, and progress towards something bigger, something
yes,
different.
Of course.
Not something where they're going to live for 10, 15 years.
No, that would be impossible due to the system that we have, that where we get folks in from the state. They have limitations on the amount of time that folks can spend there. I think one of the struggles that we have and that guests are having are that those days do run out. And with the reality that, we were speaking about before, where there is a shortage of affordable housing for folks who are on limited income, and we have folks from all demographics that stay with us. So folks who have a fixed income with Social Security, who have a fixed income due to other issues going on, or who are just resetting themselves and gaining employment. Those short time frames can be really challenging, coupled with the fact that there's almost not much of an off-ramp to being in that system, because Section 8 vouchers are drying up, because, for folks on limited income, there aren't enough housing options for them out there right now.
There are so many, and I've seen it on social media, I'm sure you have too, that say, 30 opportunities here, 30 opportunities there for, whether it's Fox Run or Speranza. Vermont is barely sticking its finger in the hole of the dam here.
Absolutely. We're all doing our best. Those of us who are working on the issue are doing our best.
That's it.
To be part of a solution. And we need a heck of a lot more folks being part of that solution as well.
And being positive.
Yes.
And saying, hey, man, it might be some time that it's one step forward and two steps back. But, man, we got to at least take that one step forward, man. It's like we just got to figure something out here.
Absolutely.
And you guys are doing that. You're part of the solution. And you're making progress, real progress.
We are making progress, and this is a new venture. This type of thing, buying a hotel and converting it, that's a new venture for Downstreet. But Downstreet sits at a number of tables that talk about housing in general and homelessness in particular, and they saw the need to have a different type of temporary but housing option for folks as an on-ramp to potential affordable housing and or to moving them towards whatever housing options that are best for them. And for some folks, they end up, I know we all have these, many of us have these preconceived notions about lots of things in life, but there are folks who stay with us who are there because their housing was flooded, and without the housing that they had in the way that they had it at the time the floods happened, they don't have another affordable option to move to. They are there because they lost a job. They are there because they're fleeing domestic violence. They are there because they've had some struggles interpersonally. There's all kinds of reasons, and they are there through no fault of their own, often enough.
Zach Hughes, my buddy, was just, do you know Zach?
I do know Zach.
He was just in here not too long ago on the air, and he said something to the effect of, and we've heard this before, we're all a half an inch away from being the victim of a circumstance.
For sure.
No matter what we do for work, what
Absolutely.
kind of clothes we wear, what kind of car we drive, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And wouldn't you want a helping hand when something like that happens? When I've talked in various groups who, some of which are much more inclined to be on board with working with folks who are experiencing homelessness and others who are not.
Yeah.
And I will often say to them, if you could just sort of close your eyes and imagine a time in your life when you felt alone for whatever reason, you felt like you had no support. That may have been 100% true. It may have been something that you were feeling at the time. And then think about whether someone was there to help you. That could have been someone you know really well, someone you don't know really well. Think about if you had no one to help you. And maybe we've all experienced that from time to time. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with, right? In a lot of cases, giving people a little bit of breathing room and time to really think about their next steps.
We've got a comment here that folks have trashed every local hotel. What's going to be done to make sure that this isn't going to happen at Speranza?
Well, I would say we can never guarantee that every guest is going to come in and then leave us with the best possible room or the best possible situation. That's never going to be the case, and it doesn't matter what type of population you're talking about. There are challenging situations within every type of relationship status. Um, so what I can tell you is that you should look at other downstreet properties and how downstreat does business. We are committed to providing a solid service to the communities that we serve. We are committed to beautifying the communities that we are in. And if you drive by Speranza right now, granted, today you're going to see a little dirt. We're in the middle of some paving stuff. But you will notice that between April 14th, when we took over, and right now, that place looks a heck of a lot better. Those rooms, while you will not necessarily all be able to see the inside of them, look a hell of a lot better. They are more functional.
Can't imagine.
Than they were. And the actual property is a much better resource for this community than it was.
Amen. I mean, that's it right there. So you said we're in the third stage.
Yes.
When are we going to be wrapping up construction there? When are we done?
We should be done by the middle of December.
Okay.
As you well know, with renovation projects, there can be delays, but the expectation is early to mid-December.
Question here from some of our listeners. Who's paying for all this?
We have various funding sources, but VHCB was Vermont Housing and Conservation Board has funded through some state funds. We are in the midst of closing a gap in our renovation budget through private fundraising. We have secured a very generous donor who will match up to $100,000 in funds if we can raise other funds. And those funds are coming in through small and maybe slightly larger donations. And so we're inching our way there, but still looking to close a gap.
And how are we able to do that? We're obviously going to be supporting these efforts hugely here at Aired Out, but is it how can we make these donations?
You can go to our website. And there's a little thing you can click on and make a donation.
Downstreet.org?
Yes.
Okay. How many people do we have living? Do we have any folks living in there right now?
Yes.
Okay.
This is an occupied renovation. So we have, at any given time, approximately 30-ish households being housed there. And that is family households with children. That is.
I was going to ask you about kids.
Yes, we have. And also that's why the barrier of level 2 and 3 sex offenders, that's why we're checking for that. It is our goal to provide a safe environment for everyone who's there. And we do our best to do that on a daily basis.
What's next? Are we still accepting applications?
We accept referrals from the state currently and through that program. And yes, they call us every day to see if we have any rooms available. And on any day that can change. Someone may have left yesterday. We will turn that room over and get that ready. And the state will call us with a new potential guest, and we'll go through the process I mentioned before.
Asking about all the boxes being checked over at Fox Run too. Are the same types of requirements needed over at Fox Run?
There are different sets of requirements for our apartments, and that is something that you'd have to talk with those folks about, because they actually vary based on the particular funding for the particular units in question.
Okay.
So the eligibility criteria may not will vary by, like in this apartment, you could maybe make up to $55,000 if you're a 3-person household, and with another apartment, it might be a different amount based on the funding.
How do we find out what
you would
those?
you would call down street and
Yeah.
ask about the specific apartments or the
Okay.
specific complex that you're
Okay.
looking for.
What is I can't imagine being in your shoes and doing what you do. I mean, it's got to be unbelievable every day. What is a typical day for you?
Oh, goodness. I'm not sure we've gotten to typical yet. I don't know if anyone out there has ever lived through a renovation, but you open up a wall, or you
Surprise,
look in an
surprise.
electrical panel, or you dig something up and you realize something's there you didn't know was there. So in terms of renovation, it's a lot of surprises. We're hoping we're nearing the ends of the surprises, and we're making some good progress, but there have been a lot of surprises, and there was definitely a certain amount of, I guess I'll say, deferred maintenance that happened with the previous ownership. And we are uncovering that and fixing that, really with a nod towards just health and safety, right? We want the property to be safe for everyone who's there.
Proximity it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
And where you guys are, where this Speranza is, the Speranza Inn, the old Quality Inn, it's walking distance from job opportunities.
Absolutely. From services, from being able to go to the library,
Right.
being able to participate in, say, a dad's group, or all of those things. What we are hoping, and we will absolutely be doing, and is something that I am frankly very excited about, because I do like to develop programming, is that once our renovation is complete, we will have community space. And our hopes are to bring, and we're already in preliminary talks, to bring things like a play group on site when we have children of a playgroup age on site, maybe a homework club in the afternoon for school-aged kids, and
great
a
idea.
an all recovery group, a parent support group,
Wow.
maybe talking to folks about how to shop on a budget. All of those things that can help to have folks both feel community and gain maybe a skill set or two to move themselves forward.
I know that you guys, at least you were, hiring, looking for some staff members.
We are still currently looking for per diem staff to come
Okay.
in and cover shifts, front desk shifts. So if folks are interested, please feel free to go to the Downstreet website and submit an application for that. We run 3 shifts. We are staffed around the clock.
24.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
there in the front, the reception
Yes.
area.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's good peace of mind right there.
It is. It is. It's good I think it's good, and it also provides a sense of safety for our guests as well. Lots of things happen after dark that, and it's not always after dark, by the way, but lots of things happen sort of under the cover of night, and knowing that there's someone there on site who can be assistive at that time is I think, a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We just had a listener just a minute ago who just donated. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, thank you very much.
Incredible. What will the fundraising efforts look like here over the next, couple of months?
We'll just be continuing to try to close the gap, and the gap we can't close will have to eventually come out of operations as
Sure.
we. So the hope is that we close the gap and that we're able to start our post-renovation operations, sort of with a bit of a clean slate, and to be able to fully implement the programming options that we're wanting to have on site.
Will there be any kind of grand opening or ribbon cutting or anything? I'm guessing that with folks that are living, this is their home for a while, and
It is.
There's a huge element of privacy, I would guess.
There's a significant element of privacy. What we will have something at some point in the probably near future, and we will let guests know exactly when that's going to be, so that they can remain as they want to out of sight. for the time frame where we do that type of thing, like a ribbon cutting or a quick tour of the common spaces.
Yeah. Is TV in Vermont picking up on this? Is the media knocking at the door saying, hey, we want to do a story on this?
At the beginning, there was some of that for sure. For
Okay.
sure. We haven't had that yet. I would expect when we're sort of unveiling our common spaces, we may end up with a bit more media coverage.
Okay. These next couple of months are going to be you're like, yep.
Yes. Yes.
It's going to be a whirlwind for you.
It has already been a whirlwind in terms of these renovations. And while we're working with Nigley and Chase Construction, and they're absolutely fantastic, can't say enough good about our partnership with them in this regard. We are in pretty close quarters. It's not an enormous site with tradesmen every single day. So we're looking forward to being post-renovation and really able to dig more into just the operations of things and not having to very consistently, talk with folks about, okay, the water's going to be off for a couple hours here, which is not the end of the world. But it's just these constant disruptions and challenges that come with renovation.
These guys know, as all contractors do in Vermont, that we've had some pretty good-sized snowstorms before Halloween.
Yes, we have.
Probably shouldn't say that too loud, but I mean, it's...
Yes, please don't. We don't need that. We don't need that right now.
But they know this, and they're working so hard over there. I mean, I was over there the other day, and I'm like, wow, saws are going.
It's impressive.
Nobody's standing around.
It's impressive. It is noisy, and the reason I bring up why it's so noisy is that, as much as we are providing sort of a trauma-informed setting for folks, a place for folks to gather some respite, Monday through Friday days is a pretty challenging environment. And everybody's doing their best to mitigate that as much as possible. But I am positive that guests will be looking forward to the post-renovation phase as well.
What about just a little bit more on some of the services? When folks come in, they move in.
Yes, they come in, they go through our guest agreement, which is just sort of our rules of operation, what they can do, what they can't do, when they can have visitors, all of the things that you just get laid out at the beginning of any interaction, but it's all in writing so that it's crystal clear. And they sign a guest agreement, they get their room key. We due to paving, not this week, but we have a newly redone laundry, a guest laundry, which the site did not previously have. So that's actually an exciting service that we are sort of putting out there for guests. And they can, if they want to, it is not mandatory, set up a meeting with our case manager, and then they can meet with our case manager as little or as often as both the case manager can fit in and they are wanting to do. So some folks really plug in and want the help in terms of a specific goal that they have set for themselves. And for a lot of folks, we're at the very least able to do some resource and referral work. Like if they need assistance with a particular thing, we know where to refer them to in the community and to try to make that connection happen.
And look at the services that we have in and around.
It's pretty significant.
I could say Central Vermont, but I could also say just Barre. Tons of services.
Which is also why, choosing the Quality Inn, there were a lot of reasons for choosing that particular property, but not the least of which is its proximity to services. Everything is here. And one of the things that guests do get out of this potentially is a downstreet reference. So if you think about someone who needs a reference for housing, if they're working through whatever they need to work through, it is entirely possible that they have a reference. Does this automatically mean that they get a prioritization for a downstreet unit? No, that doesn't mean that. We're not saying that in particular. But it does go a long way for someone who maybe had a misstep in their history and have made some changes and are moving forward. Having a reference from an affordable houser is a pretty good carrot, right? It's a pretty good thing to work towards.
The Stevens Branch Apartments coming soon to Summer Street, Speranza. These are Fox Run. These are big deals.
They're really big deals
They
for
really
Central
are.
Vermont, and they're not even everything that's being worked on. We have Marsh House and Waterbury. So Downstreet,
I saw the construction or the efforts being made over there.
Downstreet is definitely moving quite a few projects forward, and has most recently. We had the Ward 5 school redo.
Yeah.
So all of those things are still in the works. Our development pod is incredibly busy.
What kind of employment? I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but what kind of employment opportunities are needed right now over at Downstreet to increase the team?
We've got a number on the website. We have a couple of maintenance technician positions open, and they are a fantastic team. They take care of this pretty large portfolio of properties across central and north central Vermont. So we have maintenance positions open. I believe there's a current communications position, but if you go to downstreet.org and click through to the careers section, you will see a listing. Also, we have the per diem positions at Speranza open as well.
Okay. Are you getting any? What kinds of questions are you getting that we need to get answers to and pushed out to the community?
So, well, most recently, because it's been foliage season, we just get folks off the street walking in asking for rooms. And so I think
Of course it's available. It's 10 grand a night.
Exactly, sure. Please make a donation.
Sure.
So we don't have the ability right now to work outside of the state's emergency housing system based on our renovation. Another potential exciting thing that happens with the end of renovations is we do have those extra 10 or 11 rooms that are not beholden to that system that we can, as a community, and are having conversations as a community about what might best serve this particular population. We've been talking about things like maybe medical respite rooms, working with potentially Washington County Mental Health or other organizations, or Circle, or Good Samaritan, or you can name it, right? There are so many really fantastic nonprofit organizations in the area that do really, really good work. And while we're already in partnership with many of them, with the guests that we currently have, there is the possibility of programming around some of those additional rooms to better serve the community and to fill another niche.
I just got a text asking who, if anyone, under the Golden Dome is paying attention to what's going on and is maybe aware of the Speranza Inn. Case in point, would love to see some of our legislators come, see, tour, witness, learn what it is that Downstreet's doing, even if it's just the Speranza Inn. Is that being? Are you guys feeling it?
I think in general, affordable housers and those of us who have worked and continue to work with those experiencing homelessness are at the State House. And are actively working with the organizations within Vermont to lobby to either increase services or to redirect where the money's going to make the services that we are able to have due to limited funding, and that is what it is. It's never going to be that there's enough money to make this go
Sure.
away in a year, in 5 years. So we're all doing our best with the lanes that we have to get the point across. But the reality is, I mean, if you've watched the news, if you've seen what's happened in Montpelier over the last 5 to 7 years, this has become, especially since early COVID, like a really pivotal issue that everybody's talking about. So I wouldn't say they're not talking about it or they're not doing anything, but I would say there's always room for more discussion. There's always room for more innovation and for different ways of looking at moving the bar, right? Just moving things forward in terms of us ending homelessness. I wouldn't be doing this work if I didn't think that someday it could happen. Downstreet purchased this property saying we're going to do this for now, but that property at some point in the future, when we've successfully gotten to a point where homelessness has been significantly mitigated, will likely be turned into some apartments.
Yeah. Comment here that you should invite Becca Ballin. That this would probably grab her attention. Frankly, I think it should grab everyone's attention.
And I would say it generally does. If you were to look through many of our legislators' sort of social media history, or
right.
you're going to find that they've talked about this most recently. We do engage with folks for sure, especially around very specific issues that come up legislatively.
Thanks again to Dave for hopping on downstreet.org and making a donation to the Speranza Inn. He says the community members need to step up and fund these programs as the current U.S. government has taken all of these funds away. A lot of concern.
There's a lot of concern about what the federal budget, frankly, on any given year. This is a particularly concerning time, I think, in that a lot of services are being cut pretty significantly. And one of the offshoots of what's happened federally right now is that the housing choice voucher program in the state, for the Vermont State Housing Authority, they had to sort of just stop issuing and reissuing housing choice vouchers. That was many months ago, on the basis of what's going on federally. And what that means is, as I was talking about earlier, that off-ramp that may have existed for folks with limited economic ability, right?
Sure.
Doesn't exist in the same way it was before. Whereas before, you might wait on a waiting list, maybe even for years, to get one of those vouchers so that you could have an affordable place to live. Maybe that doesn't exist right now. The hopes are that it will come back around, that it will be able to start reissuing those within the state. But right now that isn't the case. So you're looking at already existing housing that has maybe a voucher attached to a unit. And those are pre-existing and not increasing in numbers substantially.
You and I both know there are several hotels around the area that similar situation.
Yes.
Does Downstreet have their eyes, their dreams on another property ahead here?
We do not.
Okay.
We are going to be.
I mean, I could list off 5 right off the top of my head right now.
As could I, having
Sure.
worked within this system of care for quite a number of years now. I could list off a whole bunch of them as well. And in real estate investment, right? This sort of investment in a property has a lot to do with the feasibility of a property as well. And some of those properties are more feasible than others, maybe in terms of someone redeveloping or renewing them, let's say. We ended up with a property that still needed a lot and still is getting a lot of that renovation. But it's a pretty Herculean task to undertake something like that, and we're going to run
Herculean.
the
Boy, that
best
is the word.
we're going to run the best darn nonprofit service integrated hotel we can to provide this service to the community. And we're going to stick with that for right now, I think.
Anybody that is watching, listening right now, please get on downstreet.org. I think that's a given. But how if they're like, I got to talk to this lady. I want to meet this lady. I want to come over and see. I want to have a look. I want to see what's going on. Maybe make a donation, maybe not. But just they want to see you. They want to extend a hand to you. Thank you for coming on. When and where? How do they do that?
My contact information's on Downstreet's website, so that's probably the easiest way. If they'd like to contact me, and with a nod again towards guest privacy,
yes,
I'm happy
please.
to chat with folks about what's going on, and if the time arises when we're able to do more of like a quick tour and that kind of thing as to the property as it's been sort of redeveloped and renewed, I'm happy to have those conversations with folks about setting something up.
Finding affordable homes for first-time home buyers is also very, very much something that Downstreet does.
For sure. Check out the website. You might be surprised by what you find about all of the things that we do. And you might think, oh, you must have 100 and some odd people. We don't. We've got around 50 to 55. Don't quote me on that number, but we do a lot with the folks that we have, and our staff is really incredible at what they do.
Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Nick, Sarah, Jen. I mean, there's so many of you. You guys are serious movers and shakers. And
we do our best.
I know you do, and you've heard it all. You have had wonderful ideas, great solutions on a silver platter, and you've still been met with people that are like, well, and they're pointing the finger. And but you guys you really cut your nails in deep to this community, and you're like the attitude of, no, damn it, we're gonna figure this out.
Absolutely. Well, it's in the name, right? It's not Downstreet Housing. It's Downstreet Housing and Community Development.
Exactly.
That's what we're about.
That's it right there. Supporting families who need a stable place to live, a stable place to land and catch their breath.
Absolutely.
And, with the help of some great case management and some resources available, really take that next step so that they can start looking back in the rearview mirror and saying, wow, I did it, or I'm doing it.
Yes, absolutely. And we have, again, folks who come back after they've left to say that to us. Hey, I'm still sober. Just wanted you to know. Hey, I got an apartment a month ago. Hey, all of those things.
Whatever.
Got a job.
Yeah.
I'm seeing my kiddo now. All of those things that are milestones in all of our lives when we've struggled with something, or even when we're not struggling. If we're just moving our feet forward one step at a time and we hit a particular milestone, how nice is it that it feels great to me, I will say, that they feel like they might pop back and let us know.
I have to just say, because it's something that I'm thinking right now. It's like I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, and I'm just like imagining some event happening to my own self. And we've said before, if we lost our house, I don't know what we would do.
It's absolutely true right now. If any of us lost our housing, whether of our own accord or whether it was a natural disaster or whatever, if we lost our housing right now, this minute, where would you go? And maybe folks have a support system where they could make it work for a time.
Big family, right?
Whatever. But not everybody has that.
Right.
And it's also not really conducive to having, say 2 or 3 families living together at once.
Sure. And that's happening a lot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're definitely back to multi-generational living.
Yeah.
We're definitely back there. And, I'm not saying that's the worst thing. It just is what it is. But if we lost our housing, what would we do? Because right now, the cost of a home, if per purchasing, what you bought your home for 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 40 years ago, let's say, is you can't get into a home for that now. You can't get into a tiny home
Not
for
at
that
all.
now. Yeah.
Tiny home even.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's really challenging.
I'm going to take direction from you guys as to what you want to do next. I would love to get Sarah in here. I'd love to get Nick.
Great.
Nick would be great in here, too. Jen LePan, if you're listening, there's a microphone waiting for you. I mean, these are people that are really getting it done, man.
Out there doing the work.
Every day.
Yes, absolutely.
This is so, so impressive. I would love to get over there and maybe shoot a couple of pictures if I could and put them on Aired Out to show people more than what they might see just driving by. Yeah. And it's really important that you're on the air with me this morning because we are making it very clear that this is not a renovation of the Quality Inn.
No.
This is something that's much, much bigger and really has some roots for good outcomes.
Absolutely. Absolutely is.
You exude the positivity here, and I love that. There's a lot of hope. And speaking of the word hope, tell me about Speranza.
So, maybe to give away a little trade secret, but when Downstreet has new projects, they sit around as an entire staff and have conversations about what they might call the new project. And in the case of Speranza, that name was born out of that process, that internal staff process. And in a nod to Barry's Italian stone cutter heritage, Speranza means hope in Italian. So that is how we came upon Speranza Inn.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Kathi Partlow. And if you have any additional questions for her, you can drop in the comments here. You'll have a look at these comments too.
Absolutely.
And answer any questions. But your contact info, all of that is right on downstreet.org.
Correct.
Introduce yourself to this wonderful lady right here. She is doing so much. Just on your own, but also with Downstreet. You guys are a force to be reckoned with. You're doing a great job.
We thank you very much. Appreciate the support.
I am so looking forward to our partnership and doing some great things with you guys. Mostly just communicating to the public what it is that you're doing. So important. Thank you for coming in here.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
So much. Listen, Nicholas Storelli Castro, our city manager, is going to be sneaking in here in just a little bit. And we're going to be talking more about the big vote coming up on November 4th. We are 2 weeks away from it. The Barre Auditorium is hopefully going to be a very busy place. We encourage you to get out and cast your vote. Hey, the Blue Jays got it done last night, taking the Mariners. World Series starts Friday with the Dodgers. How exciting. Monday Night Football, Seattle beat Houston last night. Lions beat Tampa Bay. NBA season is kicking off tonight. Martinsville on Sunday. For the NASCAR fans, there is a lot of stuff that's going on. Thank you ever so much, and we're going to check in with Nicholas here in just a few minutes, as a matter of fact, as he steps into the studio right here on the Aired Out podcast. Thanks again to Kathi Partlow from Downstreet Housing and Community Development for coming in this morning. And this is a lady you're going to see again soon, right here on Aired Out.